It's the end of 2023. The end of the year is usually a time to look back over the past year, to remember what we've done, what we've listened to, what we've watched, what we've played. The end of the year is also the time when awards or lists of best game of the year come out as well. Whether it is through semi-official venues like the Game Awards, or just content creators presenting the top 10 games of whatever niche they happen to be covering. I don't really have a specific niche, and I'm certainly not at the forefront of playing all the newest releases. There are just far too many games I'm interested in playing to just focus on one niche or just new releases. This means that I can't really do those kinds of lists when it comes to the end of the year. So what is this video going to be, you might be wondering? Well, I've decided to make this kind of a mashup between a year in review and a random award show based on what I've played during the past year. I want to start off by giving you some background stats to know what I'm working off of. Based on my record keeping, I played 49 different games over the course of the year. I finished 15 story games, earned 9 platinum trophies, and stopped playing 4 games that didn't really have an ending, and I just kind of dropped them because I was either tired of playing them or it kind of reached a point where I felt ending seemed good. So that basic information out of the way, let's get to our awards. I've got 10 different awards ranging from games I really enjoyed to games I didn't enjoy so much. To start off with, I'm presenting a few odd categories that don't quite fit the normal best of categories in videos like this. And the first of these is the worst game I played this year. Now, this isn't really a positive category, but I did want to acknowledge that not every gaming experience we have over the year is necessarily a great one. For every best, there is also a worst. That's just kind of the way this works. And so I wanted to take some time to recognize the worst game that I played over the past year. And that game is 100% Orange Juice. Or, as I call it, Anime Dice Rolling Simulator. It's a game that was just not very much fun at all and was very easily the worst game I played this year. I'll grant that it has a fairly cute aesthetic. Beyond that, it just wasn't enjoyable for me. It was hard and frustrating and mostly about rolling dice and playing cards that didn't seem to help you all that much. It was just very random and left me more frustrated most of the time than it did having fun. It seems to have its community that really enjoys the game, but it's just not a game for me. The second category is the weirdest game I played this year. There are some weird games out there. Games with strange stories, weird graphical choices, or just a strange combination of themes or gameplay elements. Weird doesn't mean bad though, so don't take this to be just kind of an offshoot of the worst game I played. Weird just means that it's weird. It's a little bit strange. It doesn't quite fit what you might expect going into the game. And the winner of the weirdest game I played this year is I Frog God. Take a look at this game. The cutesy art style and a silly little quest to help a wizard who turned himself into a frog back into his normal self seems like it would be a fairly chill game, right? Right? Well, not so much. It doesn't take long for this cutesy game to go to some dark places, with one ending going full horror aesthetic on you. It's definitely not what you expect by playing the early game, and was definitely the weirdest game I played this year. It was enjoyable for an experience that will last you about an hour to get all 3 endings. It's also a free-to-play game, so it doesn't really cost you much to kind of get a little bit of this weirdness in your life if you're interested. And the third of my kind of strange awards is the oldest game I played this year. It's really hard not to focus on the new. There are so many games that come out every year that it's super easy to forget about the great games from the past. Just being old doesn't make a game good though, but making sure we look back every once in a while to older games is important too. So that's why I wanted to add a category like this. And the winner of this award for me is Terraria. Terraria was officially released in May of 2011. This made it the oldest game I played during 2023, but not by a lot. Both Minecraft and Skyrim, which I also played this year, were released in 2011 as well. But their official releases were both after Terraria's. All 3 of these games are video game classics and well worth your time, even over 12 years later. The fact that games like Terraria and Minecraft are still getting new content is amazing and shows the long-lasting appeal of games like this. So if you've never checked out Terraria or either Minecraft or Skyrim, I would still recommend you to do that, even after all these years. So those are my somewhat stranger categories for the year. Before I move on to some of my best of the year categories, I want to take some time to acknowledge another aspect of my video gaming, and that is trophy collection. I do enjoy trying to fully complete the games I play, but I don't necessarily just go after games for a super easy trophy list. That said, I have a couple awards to present here. First is hardest platinum of 2023, and that is Omega level accomplishment from Marvel's Avengers. I don't really know that I'd say I earned any super hard platinums this year. However, Marvel's Avengers was definitely the one that had the most grind, and it was the one that took me the longest to earn. Having to level up so many characters and do so many hive missions took quite a bit of time and earned this trophy the distinction of hardest platinum I earned in 2023. On the other end of the spectrum, we have the easiest platinum of 2023 for me, and that is Be Yourself from Spider-Man Miles Morales. There were a number of possibilities for easiest platinum trophy of the year, but this one won it for me. Spider-Man Miles Morales was just a super fun and relatively short game that didn't really have too many hard trophies to earn. You did have to play through the game a second time on New Game Plus mode to get everything, but you could blast through that pretty quickly without a lot of time commitment, and it's not like it was difficult or anything like that, so it wound up probably being my easiest platinum of the year. Now, the remaining awards are all highlighting some of the best games I played this year in various categories. They may not be the usual categories that you hear on lists like this, but that's just kind of the way this is going, so let's get started. First is best online game I've played this year. Online games are an interesting beast. New ones get released each year, but even older games can get so many updates that they can continue to feel fresh for years after their initial release. So that's why I'm focusing on what I played this year, not just what was released. That, and I don't think I played any online games that released in 2023. So there's that too. And my winner is Fortnite. Fortnite dominates my playtime online. It's just one of my favorite online experiences out there right now. The amount of content that gets added every year is just amazing. Even when I don't always like some of the changes or content over the year, there is usually so much more that I do enjoy. I love so many aspects of Fortnite. It's colorful and vibrant, it has tons of customization options, and is, at least in my opinion, still one of the better free-to-play monetization structures out there, although they have been working on making it a little less great lately, but it's still decent. It's also a game that I play and enjoy with my whole family, which just adds a little extra to the enjoyment factor for me. In terms of an honorable mention, I'd also like to add here Marvel Snap, as that was probably the only online game that I played this year that even came close to Fortnite in terms of enjoyment and in terms of amount of time played. Now, the next award is Best Free-to-Play Story Game I Played This Year. When you hear free-to-play, I typically think of online or mobile games that are filled with microtransactions and maybe have a story, but it's that kind of story that they just drag out and draw out because they just want to keep creating more and more content. There's not necessarily an end involved with a lot of them. But there are also free-to-play story games out there. These are usually pretty short experiences, sometimes even to the point of feeling incomplete. Even so, there are also good ones out there that deserve a shout out, and I played a number of them this year, so I wanted to say what my favorite was. And that is Grimm's Hollow. This game was by no means perfect, don't get me wrong, but for a free-to-play story game, it was remarkably fun and had a pretty big emotional impact, even though it only took me around 2 hours to play. I think that was also including getting kind of multiple endings in that as well. Grimm's Hollow is a turn-based RPG with some fun active elements to the combat where you had to hit the right timing on your bar to get the better attack. It's also a story that's focused on death and loss in a way that not many games choose to, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's wholesome, but also kind of focusing on this rather grim subject, no pun intended. And it wound up being my favorite free-to-play story experience of the year. The next award is Best Endless Game I Started this year. Endless games are my own category of game, where I basically lump all the games that don't really have a story or a set endpoint and merge them together. They're ones that I can continue playing, if not a lot every month, a little bit here and there throughout the year. For this category, I'm reducing this to games I started for the first time over the past year. Now, this is for a number of reasons. It's so I don't wind up having duplicate winners or the same winner in this category year after year. So if it was just endless game in general, then something like Fortnite would also count, and I don't want that. But I also don't want a game like Terraria or something, which I've played for a number of years, to constantly win because I really love that game and I play it consistently most years. It's just one of the dangers of this kind of game is you can keep playing it for a very, very long time. Now, the winner of this for this year is Vampire Survivors. I missed the train last year when Vampire Survivors released and had all kinds of critical acclaim and a lot of love and praise heaped on it. I played it this year and I found out why the game received so much of this. It's a ton of fun and has so much content. It just keeps adding content too, as it now has 3 DLCs with 1 just dropping here in December, not to mention the free updates that get released as well over the course of the year. Now, I haven't had time to look at the newest DLC yet, but I have enjoyed my time with Vampire Survivors quite a bit, and I look forward to playing that and whatever else they add to the game in the future. The best DLC I played this year is the next category. I didn't play a lot of DLCs this year, but I did play a few and wanted to present what I thought was the best. Just so you know, I played 3 different DLCs in 2023. Legacy of the Moonspell and Tides of the Foscari for Vampire Survivors, and The City That Never Sleeps from Marvel Spider-Man. And given those 3, it's probably no surprise that the winner is The City That Never Sleeps from Marvel Spider-Man. While I really enjoyed both of the Vampire Survivors DLC that I played this year, it's really hard to compare them to something like The City That Never Sleeps DLC from Spider-Man. This DLC basically provides a pretty intense side story for you to go through as you fight Hammerhead, as he's trying to take over the power vacuum left during the events of the base game. While the DLC isn't perfect due to being initially released and structured in a chapter format and having what felt like a good amount of padding in them, it was still the best DLC I played this year. And now for the final category, the best story game I played this year. I feel like this category is pretty self-explanatory, so let's just go to the winner, and that is Spider-Man. Now, you may think, oh, did you not play Spider-Man 2 this year, and that's why you've just got this one? No, that's not really the case here. I've played Spider-Man 2, but overall, I found the first game more enjoyable. I would say Spider-Man 2 does have the superior gameplay and graphics, but I think that the story of Spider-Man is much better than the second game. This makes the game more solid all around, in my opinion. While Spider-Man 2 is still a great game and was definitely the best game I played that actually released in 2023, I had to give the best story game to the original Spider-Man game. I just felt like the emotional impact in the game hit so much better. It just flowed overall, story-wise, better, and to me that just kind of made up for a lot more than just having some tighter graphics and slightly better gameplay. I mean, the foundation of the gameplay is still largely the same from the regular Spider-Man to Spider-Man 2, so I just really enjoyed the story, and that's really what tipped the scales here. They're both great games, and you can't go wrong playing either of them, but I think that Spider-Man edges out Spider-Man 2 for the best story game I played this year. And that's it for this little mashup of a year in review and my own personal awards for the year. I hope that you had an enjoyable 2023 and that you wound up playing an enjoyable assortment of games, whether they're ones that were released this year or older games. There are so many great games out there and not nearly enough time to play them all. I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to say what some of your favorite games were this year in the comments. You can even give some games that fit some of mine or your own odd categories for the year, as that would be a lot of fun to see. And I'd be happy to give my selection for any odd categories that people come up with on their own. Again, I hope everyone had a great year. This will be my last video for 2023, so thanks for all those who have watched, liked, commented, and subscribed during the year. It means a lot to me, and I'll hope that the channel can continue to grow over time. That's all for this video, though, so we'll see you next time.